Destiny 2 fans are angry at how the new shaders work. So, if you don't play Destiny, basically, or I guess any kind of MMO or MOBA or anything where you can change your color, basically, you can get these things called shaders as pickups, or you can grind for them. In Destiny 1, that's how it worked. You could find them around the world. You could do strikes, or I forgot the other kind of thing that you could do. Or you could just have like materials and get them. And basically what it does is it changes your colors. It changes your appearance, so your armor can change from, like, say you start off with like some boring just brown and white looking colors. It's like, I don't like that. I want to, I want my character to pop. So it's like, I want to get that, yellow and red skin. I want to be just like, bam, here I am.
Or go with regal purple. And gold.
You can get it. Now, obtaining them hasn't really differed very much.
From between 1 and 2?
Yeah. The ways to obtain shaders is you can either find them out on the field. By that I mean the in-game world. You go out, you shoot people. There's some in-game events that happen like every hour in certain areas. There are in-game events where you have the chance to get, if you complete it within a certain amount of time, which it's always just defeating an enemy. You just defeat what's essentially just a mini-boss. And when you beat it, you get a chest, you get some money, you get a lot of experience, and then you get an item. It's almost always going to be a weapon of some kind. Sometimes it'll be armor, and then I think sometimes it'll be a shader. You can also get shaders from... Well, actually, I haven't seen any in-game footage of people getting shaders, but I'm pretty sure in Destiny 1 you were able to purchase shaders using materials or rare items that you could find, or just spending a lot of currency on them.
And I think in Destiny 2, the shaders are rare up until about level 20 also.
Yeah, which is, most things get a lot easier to get when you reach level 20, like getting legendary, or I think there's another term they use for it, but just the highest tier of weapons, armor, shaders, anything like that. It gets a little bit easier when you're higher up, like any other kind of game. Well, among small changes in Destiny 2 is one concerning shaders, the item used to recolor your gear. Many players have responded negatively to the way they function as consumables, and now Bungie has responded with an explanation of why the adjustment was made. So basically, where Destiny 1 allowed you to freely switch between any shader you had obtained, which was then applied to all of your armor, those in Destiny 2 are single-use consumables, meaning you'll need to repeatedly acquire a single shader if you want to change the look of a bunch of items. Of course, there are other changes at play here too, like the fact that randomized rolls on items are gone, meaning you won't be dismantling them as frequently. But because shaders can be obtained by spending real-world money, players have complained that this change is motivated purely by greed. As a result, players are quite angry, as this popular thread on Reddit demonstrates. So basically, whereas in Destiny 1, a shader shaded your entire character, armor and weapons, in Destiny 2, you can only apply a shader to one thing. Rather, it's either one of the 3 gun slots that you have, and I think there's maybe like 12 different types of weapons that you can have as far as guns, and I think they may have brought in swords back, so I don't know if you can change your color of the swords, but there's a few guns that you can have, standard, special, and heavy, and then your helmet, your chest plate, your pants, and wait, is it your pants? Maybe it's your cape.
I think you can change. Oh, you might be right. It might actually be like accents on your cape or something.
Yeah. I think pants may go along with either boots or a chest plate. But either way, if you have a shader that you like, you can only apply it to one thing. People have been
And then it's
complaining.
gone.
Yeah,
It's a consumable.
It's a consumable now rather than a thing where you can have a few shaders, and if you like more than 3, you just swap in between whenever you feel like. In this, once you use it, it's gone. The only way to get it back is one of 2 options. You can either grind for it again the same way you did before, which that will never change. You'll always be able to do it the same way before. Or you can spend real money wherever you are, whatever kind of currency you use, on that item. Microtransactions. So what a lot of people are complaining about is what is just boiled down to what is nowadays a normal function in video games. This doesn't make me angry. If anything, I would just kind of be like, oh, okay. I mean, I think it's a little silly to make it to where the shader only affects one thing, because I for one like my things to be, symmetrical.
Uniform.
Yes, I want everything to look the same as far as shaders go. So this to me will be it's going to be a little irritating for me.
It does favor people who just like, I'm going to go willy-nilly. I want to look like the Joker. I'm going to have white and green and purple and red and just like they're going to go for every color in the rainbow. Those really festive folks, this is kind of more tailored to you, I feel.
Exactly. Now, for guns, I think this is really cool because there are a lot of they use a lot of gun models as like that standard, like for all hand cannons. You could have 2 hand cannons that are named differently, their stats are completely different, their damage is different, but they look the exact same. As far as like the model, the coloring in each of them could be different, but they look the same. So to give it some variation, they do change the color for some of them. So to be able to change the color of your guns, I think is pretty cool, and I would definitely waste a shader on that. For armor, I do plan on getting this game, so whenever I get it, if I end up getting a shader that I want on my armor, but I only have one of it, I'll probably end up just using it on a gun, and I'll probably just buy the rest of them for my armor, because I am kind of a stickler for that. But people complaining about this because they it's either you can spend actual cash on it, or you get to use it on one thing that you have, and then it's gone. And that's one of the bigger things that people are angry about, because they want it to be able to use on everything, not just one thing. And they're even angrier because it goes away. It's dismantled, or not dismantled, it's just gone. You've used it. The thing is, there's nothing to be angry about, because that's just that's how big games work. You use something to change your appearance, and then it's gone. Or you have to spend actual money in order to fully outfit yourself. In League of Legends, for champions, you can spend in-game currency on them, or you can spend actual money on them, because spending actual money for there are 2 types of in-game currency: riot points and influence points. Influence points you can use to spend on champions, or there's another thing you can spend on, or maybe it is just champions. No, you can spend it on runes and things to make your champions stronger, or you can use the other currency, riot points, which you spend actual money on to get the champions. Riot points, it takes less riot points to buy a champion than it does influence points, but influence points are free, and you earn them based on how well you do in the game, so you can get the champion. Well, as far as your appearance goes, you can only spend in-game currency on them, or you can acquire them randomly from loot chests. But you can also buy chests. So, or you can just buy the skin. You can just straight up buy the skin, which I'm completely fine with doing. I literally did that yesterday. I bought 3 skins for 3 champions because I'm tired of just having them look the same way, and these other skins make them look better. And I'm okay with that, because You don't have to. It's an option. I have a buddy of mine who plays with me. He has not spent a single dime on any champion or any skin. Anything that he has, he's just acquired from playing the game. And that's just how he does, because he doesn't. If you can get it in the game, there's no reason to spend actual money on it. That's his view on it, which is completely fine, because you can do that. But then you have people like me who are just like, I want to get it now. I don't want to have to grind for a bunch of things that I may get, so I'm just going to spend actual money on it. So and also for World of Warcraft, literally the biggest MMO has doing it. They've done this for years. They've done it before, like, before League of Legends, before Dota, before Destiny. You can either grind for hours to get this thing that you want to make it worth it, or, you know, if you're someone who's like that, where like you have to put in the work in order to get this, or it's not worth it, or you could just take out your card, put the money on the computer, and then get it, because you don't want to spend hours upon hours grinding to get this thing that'll just change your appearance, or to get a mount or something like that, because you have better things to do with your life. They give you options, and both are okay. And honestly, for this, I know I said that I would buy it. I'd probably just grind, because I don't even know if like a shader is worth it, and I don't know how much they are. Is another thing. So like I'd have to.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Another big thing is like price. You know, like,
well,
I'm not about to spend $100 on Riot points. I usually only spend, my max is, I've only gone up to 25. I will only spend, and even that is very rare. I'll do that like every 2 months. If I haven't spent like a big purchase on myself, I'll be like, you know what? I've been playing a lot of League of Legends. I've been playing a lot of this character. I'll get a skin for it, because I don't want to wait forever. So I'll do it. I'll probably do the same thing with this.
Yeah, I first read this and I was like, oh man, this is sounding a lot like, you know, what Capcom does with their fighting games. Like, oh, you want to play as like a rose-colored Ryu? Well, you can't, because we're gonna make you download him, or, you know, something like that, and they'll only give you like a few, maybe 4 colors to choose from. But if you want anything, any other colors, they'll make you download them in like a costume pack. But I am okay with a costume for a character that is like, obviously they had to like rework the model itself. Like the clothing is different. Like I think I was thinking of Dissidia Duodecim had a bunch of DLC available for it. It had extra music, and it had extra. All the costumes that you could buy were all like remodels of the character models. Like they weren't just recolored, and they dare ask you to spend money on it. So it wasn't anything like that. This is totally within that range, with the whole like, you don't have to spend money on it. Like we're going to have microtransactions, because there are some gamers out there that they want to get to the good stuff fast. I think it's stupid. You think it's stupid, because we don't play games like that. We actually we enjoy working our way up to that point. Okay.
Well, I just said I bought skins. I'll do it occasionally.
Well, yeah, but
it's not very often. And if I do it, I'm going to do it for someone that I play as, or for something that I play a lot of. But you know, I don't have a lot of time to do things. You don't have a lot of time to do things. But you enjoy the grind. And for certain things, I do too. But there are some things that I just want to be like, you know what? I have the money. I haven't spent a lot of money recently. Yeah. I'll treat myself to, you know, a color pack.
And Street Fighter V, thankfully, Capcom kind of pulled away from that whole, like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't charge money only for absolutely everything in the game. Every time they come out with a new character for the game, and they come out with, I think, about 3 or 4 a year, you can spend in-game currency that you earn by playing the game on that new character. You don't have to spend cash on that character. Real-world currency, okay? You can save your pennies, and if you just play the game and earn enough in-game currency, you're good. And I love the fact that they actually give you that option. It kind of takes me back to the, the days of where that was your only option. You had to play the game to unlock stuff. Period. And the whole microtransaction thing, as long as it's not something that I can only get by doing that, like some games do these days, I do have a problem with that. And that's a symptom of modern gaming. Complain about that stuff. Don't waste your time, though, complaining about something that you can naturally get by playing the game. And they gave a really good reason why you're not seeing a whole lot of customized Guardians playing the game. It's because they have saved that stuff for later in the game. Something for you to look forward to after you reach level 20 and when you're doing your end game activities. I think that's a perfectly acceptable way to do things. The only main difference is, aside from the microtransaction, is it's a one-use thing. And you can complain about it here and there, but honestly, what it comes down to in the day is you just customizing how your character looks.
Yeah. It has nothing to do with, exotics. That's what they're called. All weapons and all armor you can get in the game. You don't need to do microtransactions or anything like that. You can earn them, and that's really the only way to get those really good items, which people are generally okay with.
Yeah.
But, for aesthetics, for making yourself look the way you want to look, a lot of games nowadays, if you don't want to go out there and earn it, you can just buy it.
You can buy a little shortcut if you like.
Exactly. And usually, it's really not that expensive. Unless you usually...
If you just want like one or two things, yeah, you're not going to spend a whole lot of money.
Yeah. I know that... I don't know to the extent of WoW, but League of Legends, there are skins that, as far as RP goes... There are some that you have to spend, I think it's like 3,200, which is, if you want to get that much RP, you need to spend over $30 on that RP. If you don't want to get it or wait in a chest. But those are like legendary skins, and like they have different animations, they have different things. So there's at least you getting something more than just an aesthetic change out of it. The character, like the way they fight and other things change too, which is, some people think it's worth it. For Destiny, they might have stuff like that too. I don't know. There's a bug on my screen.
And there's more important things to complain about in gaming.
Exactly.